we should be connected. Let me see if I can actually get it up on my phone this week. Hopefully I can. Hopefully we're live. Are we live, guys? I'm going to assume that we are live, but let me just find this link. It was supposed to be so easy. Okay. Okay, I've got a good feeling about this, guys. I've got a good feeling about this. All right, it looks like we are live. It looks like it is public. Wicked. So that means I should be able to find it. That was the problem that I had last week, by the way, in case you were wondering. The video was like unlisted or something, so I couldn't get myself through. Let's turn the volume right down quick before that explodes. All right, cool. We're here. We're here and we're set up. There should be a faster way to do this, guys. I'm sorry. I know it always takes a couple of minutes to get in the flow, doesn't it? Right, let me switch to OBS. Okay, cool. We can see me. All right. I need to turn notifications off. Oh, no, it's too late. It's too late to turn notifications off. Okay, so you should, fingers crossed, you should be able to hear me all right, because last week we had like a mono problem, an audio problem where I was just coming out one side, but I think I have that fixed now. Let me just switch scene quick, and that looks all right. Okay, cool. We're good. Everything's all right. So there's a couple of things that we need to go through today, but basically this workshop is going to be the front end. Last week we did back-end stuff. The first week we did Solidity and like the smart contract side of things. This week we're going to be having a look at integrating VeChain into your web app, the front end. So I'm going to pop this little slideshow presentation over here, and can we remember what the controls were? It's Alt. I'm using my external keyboard, and so you know how it is. It's slightly wrong all the time. I'm going to pop that up there, and I'm going to need all of these. There's a lot of documentation and stuff to go through today, guys. There's a lot of like, when you're setting up VeChain Kit, it's kind of a little bit fiddly at first. Once you get everything and you know what you're looking for, it's super easy. It's a breeze to use. It's really nice. A really good kind of wallet connect and blockchain integration tool. But there are a couple of things to get sorted to actually get things together. So just bear that in mind. I'm going to try my best to kind of keep this week's workshop into about an hour and a half. Let me know if you want to go longer, basically. But with all that being said, make sure you got a drink with you. Today I got Vimto, because I'm an actual child. And we're going to get in. We're going to get started now. So obviously this workshop's front end. I kind of mentioned that already. Also, just while I'm thinking about it, because I can hear it. Sorry if there's a bit of an echo. I like all the acoustic treatments down because we're moving, so like everything's kind of off at the minute. Apologies for that. In case you don't know who I am, my name's Reese. I'm DevRel at VeChain, and this is the third workshop in a series that we're doing leading up to the VeChain Hackathon, which we're doing. It's starting on the 22nd of September and it's running until the 6th of October. So it's a 2-week period where you can build and submit awesome tools. Okay, cool. So we're going to have a little... Am I on here? Yeah, we're going to have a little look at some of the hackathon details quickly. I'm not going to go through it as crazy as I did previously, but a quick plan of the workshop. This workshop is aimed at bringing you up to speed with front-end tools, right? There's a few different things that we can use, and we're going to have a look at a couple of, well, the main thing we're going to be looking at is VeChain Kit, but we're going to have a look at some of the tools that come with VeChain Kit that you can use to make your apps really, really nice for like onboarding and absolutely seamless to integrate into your web apps, right? To bring blockchain into your web app. So one of those things, one of the main things is fee delegation, but we're also going to be having a look at social login setup and stuff like that too. So that there's a ton of stuff to cover. Okay, so a quick one about the hackathon. I kind of already mentioned this, starting on the 22nd of September this year, so like just under a month now. It is online or virtual, and their expected team size, or the target team size, is 2 to 4 people. One person. If you're like an absolute nutcase, you could probably do something by yourself, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend at least working with one other person with a max team size of 4. Hackathon prize pool is 30,000, and there is, you can't see it here because I'm in the way. That's not very good, is it? But I'm right in the way of you, sorry. But also there is extra little bit of rewards as well for tooling feedback. So we're actually looking for feedback on the tooling that we have on VeChain. There's some stuff to go around for that as well. So the prizes are divided into 3 different tracks, which we're going to have a look at in a second. The first one is social impact, so it's building for people. The second one's economic development and impact, environmental impact. So this is obviously protecting our planet. And the third one is ecosystem and technical innovation. And this is for growth of the VeChain ecosystem. So we're looking at particularly about like cross-chain tooling, things like that. We have a workshop coming in a couple of weeks with OneChain, who are going to be walking you through some of their tooling. So definitely subscribe and make sure you're available for that one as well. Okay. Aside from the hackathon, so even if you don't, like, if you're not successful, if you're one of the top 3 submissions for the hackathon for any of the individual tracks, there are still a ton of grants for tooling and different applications for VBeta, which you can still qualify for, right? Particularly for the grants, we're looking for novel solutions, so stuff that doesn't already exist on VBeta DAO, something interesting and innovative. And these are available to people as well. You'll have to apply for them separately, but this is another option if you're looking to build and you aren't one of the top places basically in the hackathon. Okay, cool. I got through that well quick, haven't I? I smashed that. Thanks, guys. Give us a little thumbs up in the chat for that. Right, I'm getting a bit closer as well because I'm miles away from you, I feel like. Should we just scoot you over here? You don't need to see the light in, do you? Okay, cool. All right, so now we can get started. The intro stuff's over. So the main thing that we're going to be looking at is VeChain Kit. VeChain Kit is a front-end tool, or like a set of tools. It's one tool. It's one tool basically, and the purpose of it is to connect your web apps, or your web apps to the blockchain, so that you can basically do things like people can connect through their wallet, they can sign and submit transactions or certificates to authenticate themselves, as well as interact with your application in whatever way you've designed. So like minting tokens or submitting proofs on chain or whatever. Some of the built-in stuff, well, it has some requirements, right? It's got some dependencies. We'll look at them in a sec. Don't worry about it too much. But the main thing that you'll be doing with VeChain Kit is setting up your wallet connection and setting up your provider. As part of that, you will need to set up a fee delegation link. And there is another option. It's not mandatory. It used to be, but it used to be a required item, which is privy for social login. But that isn't actually that isn't required anymore. It's not mandatory anymore. We'll have a look at that anyway, though, obviously. So setting up VeChain Kit, let's just have a look at a project. Let's have a look at a project. Let's do the zoomy thing. Is that going to be big enough on your screen, guys? I feel like that's got to be it, hasn't it? I think so. Let's get rid of that. Cool. We can get rid of this too, probably. And we can have a little look at the docs. So VeChain Kit just like all of the tools on VeChain, actually has some really nice docs. It has documentation specific to the tooling, so it's not like sat in VeChain docs, like docs.vchain.org. It's sat at docs.vechainkit.vchain.org, and hopefully we've thought ahead and we've put a link to that in the bottom. And if not, let's just go homepage, grab that, and let's see if I can pop that in the chat for you guys, or in the description. I think I should be able to. Edit. Resources, VeChain Kit. Oh, it is there. Oh no, it's not. There's a link to VeChain Kit, but VeChain Kit docs. Hopefully that's the same format. Yes, it is. Right, cool. We'll just update that quickly, and then hopefully you'll actually have that available to you, so you can just get directly. I mean, you could also probably typed it in the time it took me to put it in, but there's been a recent update for VeChain Kit, which means that there obviously have been some changes, but you don't need to worry about that too much, to be honest with you. Realistically, it's just some extra things have been added. And they've tidied up some of the stuff. The team have tidied it up. I haven't done it personally, but I feel like it's a we. It's a royal we as part of VeChain, right? There is a link here when you first get to the docs. There's a link here, or a couple of links for different things that you might actually want to just take a look at. But to be honest with you, don't worry about that. We're not going to be having a look at that in this. If we just go down to installation here, there's this command which you need to run. Now, taking this at face value might run an error. It might throw an error, and that's just because of this bit here. So I would just get rid of the versioning here and just put in VeChain dApp kit dash react, right? It's a dual line situation. Can I zoom out of that? Is that going to fix it? No. It's a two-line situation here, but basically just get rid of that and it'll install absolutely fine. All right, cool. So this is a project that I've used to integrate VeChain Kit into a very, very simple web app. It's like, do we use this one? If I just do this, oh. What have I done? Don't tell anyone your password. All right, don't worry about the sudo thing, all right, guys? You probably don't need to do that, but there's a weird permission thing on my laptop here that basically it always errors out if I don't. Okay, so, oh, we don't have another one. Okay, well then let's just go here. Let's just go here. So we're going to have a little look at this project to kind of give you an idea or a little bit of a feel for VeChain Kit. I've lost it. I've completely lost it. Oh, here we go. We don't need two of them. And if I go here and minimize this, I can add it in. Smart. Oh, my mouse is not working for me. Okay, so this is just like a little toy project I threw together. It's basically like, kind of like the buy me a coffee example, all right? Except in this, instead of using smart contracts, it's just send straight to wallet. So it's like the simplest version of a transaction that you can basically have. And if we click up here, it'll ask us to log in. We can social log in with VeChain, or we can connect wallet. And this is what VeChain Kit is. Ultimately, it's managing this connection to your wallet, and then from that allows you to sign transactions and send them. So if we just go connect wallet, have vWorld, and it's going to ask me to sign something, and I'm going to say yes, and I say don't tell anyone my password, and I got it wrong. So morning guys, sorry, I just noticed. Yeah, so anyway, now I'm connected. I should be able to just hit the donate button and send a transaction, but it's not. It's giving me an error for some reason. Okay, well, we're not going to go through deep. Oh, it's because I'm sending it to myself. We're not going to go through it and have worry about it too much. All right, I just wanted you guys to see what VeChain Kit was about. And in fact, if we get rid of this and we go back to the VeChain Kit docs, you can actually wait, it's not VeChain Kit docs, it's VeChain Kit.VeChain.org. You know, how many times have I done this now? I'm still not any better with QWERTY. I use a split keyboard, by the way, guys, so that's why I'm not good with QWERTY. But you can actually come, right, which is the point of this, you can come over here and log in directly to the VeChain Kit website as well. And so you can kind of test it out here, and you see the pop-up's the same, connect with wallet, and yeah, basically you can test it out live in exactly the same way. But before we get too far into this and I just start going down the rabbit hole, we're going to assume that you guys here don't have like a testnet wallet setup. And so we're going to walk through this setup process of that for you guys as well, so that everything's kind of covered. So the first thing we need to do is get a plugin for Chrome, like a Chrome extension called vWorld. And vWorld is just the wallet, the VeChain wallet. Sorry, as soon as I start talking, I get super thirsty. Yeah, so we have a little look at vWorld here. It's probably going to ask me for my... wait, can we see this all right on the screen? We got it all right? Okay. Yeah, so here we've got our wallet, and basically what I need you to do is install this plugin. That's basically it. And you can set yourself up a wallet. Make sure that you're on the testnet network. And you know what? We should probably get rid of all distractions before we start doing things. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, we need to make sure we're on our testnet network. I'll show you how you can get there as well. If you go into this little burger bar at the bottom right, and you go down to networks here, you'll be able to pick either mainnet or testnet, right? And we've got some other settings here, which includes this little indicator. So it reminds you which network you're on, because it's easy to forget, especially if you're not looking at this wallet all the time and you're switching for testing purposes and like deployment purposes, you're popping back and forth between mainnet and testnet. There are a ton of other settings in here as well, but realistically, you just need to get yourself vWorld and set up a wallet. When you do that, it's gonna like generate a wallet for you. It'll give you a mnemonic. You need to write that down on paper. Like, don't write it into anything on your computer. Don't post it in the chat. And then once you have that, what we can do is actually get some test from the faucet. So we're going VeChain faucet testnet. Get over there, and oh, that didn't send it. It's faucet.vcha.in. Very nice URL. But yeah, so we go to the faucet, it'll look like this. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that we've got our wallet address, because I'm pretty sure it asks for that directly. We just go in the top left, you'll see it's got your, if you've got a vet domain, it'll be up there and it'll have your little wallet icon with your address. You just hit on the bar there and you can copy your address. So you just copy that one, switch back over here, claim yourself some tokens. Oh no, it just asks you to sign it. Whew. There you go, perfect. And what this will do, it gives you a transaction ID here as well. But what this will do is they'll just send you some vet. So look, I've received 500 vet. This is testnet vet, all right? There's no point in just pinging it constantly. It's not going to make you rich. It also sends you some VeThor. Let's actually have a look at that. So we've got 500 vet and 50 VeThor. So that's what you get when you hit the faucet. You don't need to hit it multiple times. That you just don't. So don't worry about it. Just get your wallet set up and hit the faucet once. And do we actually have the faucet? Did we put that in the chat? That's a good point, actually. Let me just make sure, because I want you just to have these resources. I don't want to be leaving anyone out. And I've got a feeling it's not in there. It's not. All right. So under the docs link, VeChain faucet. Cool. So that way the link will be in the description, and then you'll just be able to access that as well, instead of having to try and type it in. And I've just realized how crazy zoomed out I am in here as well. And I'm not even there, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, look, so it'll give you this little transaction ID. You can pop it into the click on the link to follow it into the Explorer. And as you can see, it just shows you here. I always feel for people trying to watch this kind of stuff on their mobile. It'll show you this, it'll show you where it's coming from, bit of transaction information. We've got 500 VET, 50 VeChain come into our wallet. Okay, so basically that's the faucet, all right? When you're building on VeChain, obviously you're going to build on testnet, you're going to be building on mainnet, or you can do it with Solo as well, but we're going to be using testnet for this. So it's really important that you actually have some VET, right? So you can run transactions yourself and make sure everything's working. And once you have your vWorld set up, you'll be able to use this account. This will automatically connect through VeChain Kit. This will allow you to connect to your own app, and it'll allow you to actually test the things that you've been building. All right, so we can get rid of that. We can give this a little shot here. Log in with vWorld. And all of the things, also all of the little pop-up options like social login, like connect with Wallet Connect and stuff, these are all customizable by you. So you don't need to just rely on someone having a wallet, and this is one of the beauties of it. But if you guys are coming here for this workshop, that means that you're looking to build on VeChain, so you need to actually have a wallet set up. But for your users, one of the good things about VeChain Kit is that it has like social login tooling built in through Privy that allows you to have users come to your app who don't already have a wallet, and what they can do essentially is interact with your app without having to have their own like VeChain or having to manage their own wallet. It all gets managed through Privy, and it's a really, really simple, cool and simple way to set yourself up. All right, cool. So now we can go back to VeChain Kit now. So the first thing that you need to do is not really your wallet button. This is a bit misleading. The first thing you need to do after you've installed your dependencies, you need to set up your provider. And the provider, I forget which window I'm in, the provider looks a little bit like this. It's just like any other kind of like React app that you're building. You'll have some level of like context or store and provider. And so the way that this works in here is just like if you were dealing with any other form of like client state with tooling you want to bring in, right? That's what your provider's for. And all we're doing here is we've got a function called VeChain Kit Provider Wrapper, and as always just passes a bunch of React nodes in, like the children. It's a very common kind of pattern, and in there we're just returning our VeChain Kit provider with configuration. And that's the important bit, because if we go past all our configuration, obviously we're just passing the children through, right? It's a wrapper, it's a provider. When you're working with, because we're working with React and Next, because it's only currently compatible with React and Next, we also need to import dynamic from Next Dynamic so that we can dynamically import VeChain Kit.provider. All right, that's also really, really important. And like if you've done any front end with Next or React in general, you know it's a little bit of a pain to kind of organize and juggle all these things, but once it's set up, it works really, really well. Okay, so let's have a little look at some of the variables or the kind of options, the configuration options in VeChain Kit. Here we go. So the first thing we need to do is set up our provider. Sorry for all the windows today, guys. There's just a ton of it. There's so much. But basically, the configuration for our provider sets the parameters. So it sets things like connecting to a network. It sets the URL for fee delegation. It sets the Privy setup, and a bunch of other things as well. The very, very basic setup is just providing the network configuration, which we're going to have test here, but we also have, it's obviously testnet, mainnet, or solo. And so I guess main is used instead of mainnet. I mean, why don't we just have mainnet? I don't know. Anyway, the other thing that we need, which is mandatory, is fee delegation. And this is to allow, like I mentioned, people to come to your apps who haven't got a wallet or don't have crypto assets, and then they can still interact with your app. And it's really just a nice, handy tool for people to join, and you supply payment for transactions, because a lot of the time what's going to happen, sorry, I started talking about Privy then because I'm going around in circles already, guys. I'm moving house, so like my brain's not working too well, so apologies for that. Fee delegation is for you to pay transaction fees on behalf of your users. All right, there we go. I made it. Give a thumbs up, guys, in the chat. Come on. Give me some love for getting through that. And you can see here, when we set up our delegation URL, we just have this, this example has sponsor-testnet.vchain.energy. And this is actually what we're going to look at setting up. Now, there's a release coming for VeChain Kit, which actually won't require a fee delegation. It'll have a generic delegator config instead, but it's not there yet. But I'm not sure exactly when, but very, very soon. We're not going to necessarily need this. We can still do this, but it won't necessarily be needed. But yeah, for today's sake, we do need to set this up. We've covered the next configuration. So in this example, this actually kind of got most of the things together. We can connect. The login methods is the main thing that will be a variable according to your own preferences. So right here, we've got login methods in this example of VeChain, dAppKit, and ecosystem. And here we've got our dAppKit preference of vWorld, Wallet Connect, Sync 2, and that's about it. This doesn't have the Privy stuff. But if we have a little look at my setup here, I've got my fee delegation URL. I've got, oh no, I've done everything. Cursor. Just use Neovim. So we've, first off, the main one, or one of the mandatory ones, the required configuration points is network. I've got this set to test. I've put dark mode on true, and the language is English. There are actually VeChain Kit VeChain Kit actually supports multi-language out of the box now, but I've set this to English only. But it does like language localization. We got dark mode set to true. We got login methods, basically the same, and then we have our fee delegation here. We got fee delegate. We want to use fee delegation for all transactions, basically. So we've set that to true here, but it doesn't need to be. You can specify certain processes or not. Our delegation URL is set here, just as an environment variable. And that's actually not the only environment variable that we have set. We've got our delegation URL, which you'd get from VeChain Energy, which if we go over here, I have that pulled up. Hopefully it hasn't logged me out. Yeah. So if you, in this example, we're actually going to show you this stuff, all right? VeChain Energy is a really, really good service. And there are loads of things that you can do with VeChain Energy. But the main thing is, for us, for our purposes, is the fee delegation. And so I've set up a project in VeChain Energy. I already logged in so that, because they send you an email for verification to pass you through. And I'm not showing you my email, sorry guys. But basically, once you set up your fee delegation project, you'll have this URL here, and you can see, you can't see at all. Let's go out once, my head's not in the way. I've got this sponsor-testnet VeChain.energy, right? And that's basically the same or very similar to what, oh no, I've lost it, to what we had in VeChain Kit in the docs. There are too many web tabs open, guys. So, you know, in this example, it's 441. In my example, it's like 859 or something. What was it? 843. Pretty close. Pretty close. When you set this up, that's kind of only half the battle, because you'll see up here, my current balance for my address here is 0. And in order to actually use this, you would need to supply some VeThor, or you can send VET as well. But VeThor to this address. And the way you get the address is if you go down to deposits, and it will give you a little address here. We can copy that. We can go to our vWorld. And what are we doing? It's put me to main. I set it to mainnet. Sorry guys. Okay, and we can send. We're going to send VeChain. We're going to paste that in, use that, and we're just going to say 100. Right, we're going to send 100 VeChain. Hopefully it figures it out. What's going on? All right. Okay. Let's just stop that. Basically, you need to deposit some VeChain. I don't really know why that's taken so long, guys, to be honest. Anyway. Oh, no. So once you have figured out what... wait, that's only half of it. That's only half of it. So we got our dApp kit, and when you set up your dApp kit connection, you need another thing, another part of the setup process, which is this public wallet connect project ID, which you can see here. I've got in a comment you can get from cloud.reown.com/signin, and I have that too set up here. And in here, you log in like this, and you'll have your project ID just at the top here. You just click on that to copy, and then you can put that in place. When you do this, you need to just basically sign up, you create a team, and that's it. All right, but I'm not showing you all the configuration because, you know, you see my emails and everything else. So I can't. All right, it's not, front-end development is surprisingly not live stream friendly for something that's kind of built to be public facing, you know. But anyway, that's that. Then there's a bunch of different login customization things that you can do. So there's a wallet component. We don't need to worry about custom authentication. Okay. We have a ton of, where's the, oh no, it's not in here. Basically, there's a bunch of different social login mechanisms. So you can log in with GitHub, or you can log in with Google, or you could log in with just a ton of other options. And actually, I think it was more displayed out on here. Here, yeah, wallet connection integration is what I was looking for. There is a ton of options that you can use to allow people to connect to your dApps without necessarily already having a wallet. And through Privy, one of the great things about it is, I mean, it's a custodial service, all right? So it's not really like for the blockchain natives, but it is for people who are new, who don't know about keys or wallets, and like they just don't need to go through that process, right? You just get there when you've dipped your toes in a little bit. And so you can use Privy to enable the onboarding process to be really, really nice by allowing them to use their Apple ID or using their Gmail account or whatever, right, to make it super, super simple for people. And that's one of the massive kind of benefits of VeChain Kit as well. It's really, really good for that. If you got any questions, by the way, you can just pop them in the chat and I'll try and get to them. There should be plenty of time for me to get to them. But anyway, we have actually covered this fee delegation setup now, which is nice. We have also done this. Wicked. So yeah, we go to cloud.reown.com/signin and we get set up our free application, and we can actually grab that project ID and put it in our environment variables as well. And that's it. Okay, now we're actually looking at stuff. When you do things with our dApp kit, we need to connect to window.vchain. This just basically sets that up, but don't worry about that too much. You can copy and paste that directly out of the docs. Don't worry about like having to juggle all this code and be like, oh my God, how am I supposed to remember this stuff, you know? The main thing that we're gonna look at next is the social login and through Privy. And we just have this Privy config here, which requires an object that looks something similar to this. We don't need to have all of these variables. Some of them are mandatory, some of them aren't. But the main things that we need is an app ID and our client ID. And you can see these are both environment variables as well, because obviously you need to get them through Privy. And if we zip back over here, I feel like the slideshow presentation's in the wrong place, isn't it? Which one's Privy? This one's Privy. Okay, so guys, don't steal my app ID and my client ID. I'm just going to close it up after this anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But basically, you go to Privy and you create an account. You create a dev account, it gives you 150 people who can connect. This is fine for testing, obviously. And then once you set it up, you've got to answer a bunch of questions and give it loads of information. But once you get it up, you can get your app ID. And if you go to clients, you can get your client ID as well. Now, I've used the web app one, but if you're building a mobile app, right, then obviously you would use a mobile one. And now I need to delete these because I've obviously done this on stream. But basically, there's 3 major things that you need to do just to set up VeChain Kit. So I get that it is a little bit frustrating to have to manage all this stuff. But once you have these 3 things done, including Reown, then you're able to just connect your app by wrapping your app in your provider. This is where we want to be. And then you can just connect like this. And it's a super simple modal. Like there's nothing complicated about it. You can, oh, I've copied it. You can switch between accounts. I only have 1 account. You can set up profile customization. You can disconnect your wallet. You can just grab the address. You can check out what assets you have. I mean, this is all testnet, all right, so don't get excited. You can also access ecosystem apps built into VeChain Kit. So if you need to go to different places, you can, but obviously it's not really something that you necessarily want in your own web app. And you can send assets directly from VeChain Kit. But even if you just connect, this is actually the only part you need for your front end, right? This is the bit that actually matters, being able to connect to your wallet and interact with your app based on that. I think, pretty sure I closed that down. Yes. So anyway, once you have your app ID and your client ID, you can do things like keyboard guys. You can set login methods. So here I've got Google, Twitter, SMS, or email. Appearance here, we've got a couple of different options for our wallet list. You can provide your own accent color. I've just removed it. We can customize a login message, and we can provide a logo. And we've got create on login all users for our embedded wallets as well. But that's it. Oh, okay. It always feels like, I mean, that was quite a lot. What was the time? Yeah, it is quite a lot. It is quite a lot to set up. But a lot of this stuff you can grab from the docs. Just save that. I don't know what I've saved now, but hopefully things haven't broken too much. But a lot of this stuff, like I say, you can grab from the provider configuration tab here in the docs. It has the very, very basic things it'll set you up to walk through. Yeah, like it's main for mainnet, in case you're wondering. It's got the basic dApp kit configuration. It's got the basic, it doesn't have privy, but it walks you through, the documentation for VeChain Kit is wicked. It walks you through a ton of stuff, configuration authentication methods, how you structure it. You can set it up as a grid, you can set it up in columns, you can specify certain things for your dApp kit. Oh, look, it has the information about that. Privy integration is now optional, which is great because you don't have to enable social login by default, which you used to. And we got some other things in here, type safety stuff, ecosystem app configuration, environment variables. I mean, obviously, you probably know how to use environment variables, guys. If you don't, like, just Google that. But yeah, and then it's got some best practices as well. Fee delegation setup we've already been through. But you can, I didn't actually mention this, you can actually set your own fee delegation URL up. You can create your own service as well if you wanted to do something like that. And VeChain Energy has loads of tools. So for example, you can automatically top up your delegation pool through that address. Through that wallet. But here, if you want, you can just build your own service and then set it up that way. Using VeChain Energy, there you go, yeah. A smart contract for custom rules. So this is actually something I wasn't going to cover, but you can see here, advanced delegation rules. You can set up a smart contract that basically limits what or what kind of transactions are able to be delegated. And that can be really useful if you want to be able to provide a service to certain wallets, or maybe like people's first transactions or something like that. And it can be really good so that you're basically not just burning through all your VeThor trying to keep your app alive or trying to support your user base. So it might be something worth looking into. I haven't actually set this up, so I don't know how easy or complicated it is, but I mean, they basically give you a contract here, right? So it gives you some options. And if you paid any attention in the Solidity course, then you can probably just figure out what's going on here. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple stuff. Okay. It also recommends monitoring and alerts. And this is really good because if you remember back to my VeChain energy is empty. And so fee delegation through this delegation URL won't work because there isn't any VeThor there. So it wouldn't actually work through that URL. Yeah, cool. I mean, that's basically it. Once you have your button, once you have your provider set up, you're basically just going to wrap your app, right? So we've got, in case you haven't really dealt with this kind of stuff before, we're just going to have a quick look. But essentially, you're going to do your dynamic import for your provider wrapper. And we just pop it in there, look. We're pulling it from utils, which is where this lives, in utils, right? Because it's a simple app. And then for our root layout, we just wrap the entire app. Now, I'm also pulling in a header here because I want that to be persistent across the site, right? Just this up here, vstoik. And I'm minimizing this because it's getting in the way, isn't it? It's getting in the way of flicking back and forth. And then it passes the rest. All right, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to do it this way, all right? Set your next project up however you want. This is basically just a little toy project that I set up to demonstrate these things a while ago. Page has actual functions for managing the transactions, which is just that donate button, by the way. And what else do we have? Here is the donate page, sorry, with our utils. Why isn't that working? Okay, it doesn't matter. Basically, it just handles the transaction. Okay, so it will push a transaction. It'll define it for you. It wants to send, I think it's 1 VET for buy me a coffee. I'm pretty sure I set it up to be 1 VET. So like it's a predefined thing, right? It's the simplest thing possible. I can't remember if you ever saw those videos. You might see it. You might see me talk about it in a little bit more detail. Yeah, 1 VET. Okay, cool. So that's basically what that app's for. And then if we go up here, we can close this, just delete that. And right. So now we've had a little bit of a look at VeChain Kit. Actually, what I've done, I forgot to mention this, sorry guys, is I've put the wallet button in the header because I want it to be everywhere. So if we go to a different page, it's there. That header remains there through the whole app. So that's why it's loaded before the children. Everything's just piped in afterwards, and that's fixed. And this is where we have our wallet button. And this is a really key thing of the setup of this that I almost forgot to cover entirely, which is pulling this wallet button. It's already set. And so you can just stick it in like this. It will automatically load all of the configuration that you've had for your provider, and it'll just make sure it works perfectly. So if we go up here, I can log out. Yeah, I do want to disconnect my wallet. I can create a social login with VeChain. It'll ask me for some other method of authentication, and I can choose how I want to do that. I can continue with WhatsApp, Google, Twitter, Discord, other socials. We got GitHub, TikTok, Line, don't know what Line is, Apple, and Farcaster. So there are a couple of options just set up automatically in here. I have a passkey. There you go, there's a passkey option as well. But basically there are, oh no, it's just, I'm gonna get stuck in a privy loop now. Basically there are loads of different options for you. You can either allow all of them by default, or you can limit them in certain situations where you want specific, or you have specific rules for how you want people to be able to connect to your app. Basically, that's how it works. Okay. Something's happened. Something's happened to the stream. Stream's not loading. I'm going to assume it's still going. Okay, it is. A little bit of a worry there, gents. So I'm going to close that. And realistically, there isn't too much more to go through on VeChain Kit. And we're only about 45 minutes into the live stream. We've set up, so we've done quite a few things already, and I have kind of whizzed through it because I was really worried about rambling too much and not actually covering these things. So that's essentially how you set it up. Everything, obviously, any of your important client side stuff needs to be used client. But I'm not here to teach you how to build a React app. You know, I'm not really here to do that. We're looking specifically at these VeChain things. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of this now. And I've had a little look at the provider and stuff. And we're going to have a little look at the learn to earn. Now, I had a bit of an issue with this earlier, and that issue was that it's not actually using VeChain Kit, it's just using dApp Kit. So, but what we have here is basically like a complete app that connects, that takes everything we did for the Learn to Earn platform previously and basically puts a front end on it so that you can connect with through a website. I have closed this, yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about that now. Get rid. So you can pull this repo. It's a link in the description for the app, this Learn to Earn, and it has the contracts in it, which if you saw that other live stream, you'll already be slightly familiar with. But essentially, the way that these workshops have been designed is to walk you through the process of building out an app from scratch using these tools. And the one we're going with is a Learn to Earn, right? A Learn to Earn example for universities specifically. And I'm just going to give you a quick refresher on this, by the way, in case you didn't realize what was going on, guys. Just so you're up to speed in case you missed one of those other streams with what's actually going on. So this is an example of like the kind of submission that we'd be expecting for the hackathon. This one would be for track 1, right? For people, right? Sustainable people. What was it? I've closed this down. Social impact, sustainable people. What is wrong with me? It was a tongue-in-cheek one, guys. But essentially what we have is this is our connection to the X to Earn, right, the VBetterDAO connection. But here what we have is we've got a constructor down here which gives you a bit of an idea of what's going on. We basically are deploying contract with an institute in mind, specifically for them to push this through the X to Earn contracts, right, so that it can be integrated into VBetterDAO. And the purpose of that is to allow people like university students to register at a particular university for whatever course, or like college if you're in America. And then when they complete the course, they can earn some better for it, right? So that's the basic concept, all right? It's just an example, all right, guys? But that's what we've been working on. And here you can see to add a student, we need to pay 1 VET. So kind of like the donation button we had earlier in the other example, this requires you to actually pay to register as a student. Now we could do it with nothing, but we also kind of wanted to have something there. So yeah, you'd register as a student, you'd submit a proof, and then you'll be able to, prove your submission for your course material, and then that can be actually checked by the owner of this contract, who's like the lecturer or registrar, can check that and then can either grant it as like you've passed and you've graduated, or not, as the case may be. Hopefully you will graduate. But yeah, that's basically it. You know, we deal with a couple of things. Go and check out that live stream for more information. Like I don't really want to talk through all this now. We got other things to deal with, but Essentially, it's a contract. You register as a student, you submit your work, and then you either earn better for passing or for not. Well, or not. Sorry, not for not. Now in here, we've got a couple of different things. We've got our back end over here, which is just a little back end service for us to be able to handle a database. We have some scripts for deploying, registering an app, and updating an app, because these are different functions that we need to do to update things in our smart contract. And we'll actually have a look in those in just a second. And in here we have our actual app. If we just have a look in app.jsx, you can see we don't actually have VeChain Kit set up, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's just using DAppKit at this stage instead. It's not actually using VeChain Kit. So I'll have to update this to actually have VeChain Kit built in. But I mean, it should still work anyway. It shouldn't be a problem. It's just using a different connection mechanism basically for our wallet connect. You don't need to see main.jsx. If we go down here, we've got our README. And in the README, this is obviously a really good starting point for any repo, which basically walks you through setting this stuff up. So some of the features: student registration, obviously, proof submissions, so student submit learning proofs with validation. In this example, we're just submitting a URL. We got our moderator approval, which is done by our registrar. Well done, guys. Glad you're paying attention. Better rewards, which we'll go over in the next workshop when we talk about the VBeta integration. We got our VWorld integration, which is our wallet connect, obviously, and transaction tracking, which is a full audit trail with Explorer links. Basic structure: learn to earn. We got our contract, which we just looked at. We got scripts to deploy, register our app and update the app ID. Then we have our components, config, and services for the basic front end. And we got our back end service as well, our server and contract service. Oh, and one main thing actually that we didn't talk about already is our hard hat configuration. And in our hard hat configuration, we're just defining, we've got an environment variable for a private key, which is used to register the, deploy the smart contract. And further down here, we got our network specifications as well, where we have a delegation URL. And actually, we should put that back to what it was, because I don't know why, but it wasn't letting me submit some VeThor earlier, was it? So hopefully these guys do. And yeah, so this is the delegated URL for fee delegation, and the regular testnet URL you can see here is not using it. All right, so different transactions are going to require different submissions, right, or fee payment mechanism. And then there's a mainnet and hard hat chain ID. Cool. I mean, the hard hat configuration is not really that exciting, but it is important just to have a look at so that you can see how the networks are set up and configured. Now I need a little Vimto break. Okay. So, in the README, we're going to just run npm install to install everything once you've cloned the repo, obviously. Environment setup, create a .env file. It comes with a environment.local, I think, or example. So just cut that off, and then you can add your environment variables. And these environment variables are private keys. So I'm not showing you. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter because it's just an example. But basically, here's my configuration. This is the one that came in the app, and I've just put my moderator key in, and I put a VeChain private key in, and this is the one that's going to be deploying the contract. All right, just so you're aware. And I did that just by running from last week's example. I just ran wallet, and if you remember, wallet gives you a mnemonic. In fact, let's just have a look. I'll just make a new one. Where are we? Okay, cd backend ls node src. What was it? Wallet. Was it wallet, guys? Yes, it was. So I'm too zoomed in for this. But basically, let's just get rid of that. Do you click on that? No, it's what, Command B, yeah. So this generates a mnemonic and it generates a bunch of like child addresses. We talked about this last week. So I just grabbed the root private key here, hoping that it would work. We'll find out soon enough if it works. But otherwise, what you can do is derive child key. It already derives the addresses. You can just change this to print the private key as well for that particular one. Because here, when we derive our child addresses, we're not printing that private key, but it's deriving an address, right? Okay, Command B. Command B. That's a handy little, I mean, it should just click, right? That should just do something. But I do like shortcuts. I don't know why we can't just drag it. Okay, another little detour for you guys. So let's have a little look at this, right? In here, we've got components for all of the different functions that we're going to use. So we've got the first one really is student registration. And like I say, this doesn't use VeChain Kit, but essentially it's just setting up a student. And if you remember, when we actually register as a student, we don't need to submit everything. In fact, if we go over here and, oh, let's start it all up. Which one am I in? Let's get it started. Run server. The sudo thing is killing me. And then here we got our front, for our front end. Cool. So now we've launched those two services. There are two services. All right, guys, our server and our, if we go here and just minimize that. And we go back to the README. Because we have our like database running and we have our front end running, you see here, we need to do both of these things, all right? So yeah, that's really important. And then what will happen is you'll get, I need to, wait, can I just drag that across on a full screen? Hopefully. Whew. Then we'll have something like this. And so this is our example app for our Learn to Earn platform. We've got our Wallet Connect here, which just connects your wallet through vWorld, obviously. Sorry, I was gonna, yeah, just cancel that. But yeah, essentially Learn to Earn, complete learning tasks to earn better rewards. Connect wallet through, it's doing it through DAppKit. It asks you to sign a certificate and you'll say secret password. And then we can do our student registration. And so we've got a 1 VET fee for our student to register. We need to pay 1 VET. And all we need for our student registration is our first and last name. These are stored on chain. So these are part of the struct that we use in our smart contract. You'll see here where we create a student. Well, let's just have a little look at it as a struct, right? So it requires a name and a family name. It has a wallet because that's the person submitting the transaction. And these are preset because obviously we haven't got a certificate, we haven't graduated, and we will have registered. So it'll go true. And we can have a little look at that. If you remember last week when we were doing it just through the back end, you remember us actually running that. But yeah, that's basically it. So what I haven't done yet, actually, which is really important, is actually doing the app, deploying the smart contract, because, yeah, I'm pretty sure I need to do that going through here. So the first thing we need to do is compile contracts. So once you've set up all of your environment variables, we've got our, I mean, realistically, the only environment variables you need to set are the those two private keys, right? So we set them up in our .env. We've got one here and we got one up here as well. The rest of it should just stay the same, although we have our app wallet connect project ID. That would probably help as well. Let's grab it from our VeChain Kit example. Wallet Connect guy. Guys, this is like these are the two naughtiest things to put on your stream. Okay, we're not gonna do it. String should be fine. Let's see. So let's go here and let's just get out of this one, I guess. Yeah. And then what do we need to run? Let's check the README. Oh, let's save that before we start breaking everything. So npm run compile. So npm run compile. Cool, we're operating on a non-VeChain network. Don't worry about that because we've already compiled it. So now it's saying nothing to compile. Okay, and then we do deploy testnet, right? Let's just uve double deploy testnet. So then we do that. And we have a transaction error. And we have a transaction error because there's insufficient energy. And the insufficient energy is because our newly created wallet that we've just pulled from the SDK with that private key doesn't have enough energy in it, enough VeThor to actually pay for the transaction. So I'm just gonna, oh no, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. So what we need to do is make sure that that actually does have enough VeThor in it to be able to pay for that transaction. So I'm gonna grab that and I'm gonna Command C, and then what I'm gonna do is pop over here, open up our vworld, and I'm just gonna send some VeThor to him. VeThor, yep, use that, and we'll send, I don't know, like 100, I guess. Yeah, why is this sitting up out of the way? There you go. The operation went well. So I'm just basically providing one of those private keys with, oh, why doesn't that work? I'm providing the private key here with, in our .env, .environment, which is this VeChain private key variable here. This is the guy, which is for our deployment configuration you see here. So that's the wallet that I'm supplying with some VeThor to be able to pay for that transaction. Now, hopefully that's gone through by now, and we can try it again. Deployment complete. That took a while, didn't it? I was a bit nervous. Usually if things take a while, it's a good sign because it means it hasn't errored out straight away. So what we have now is we've deployed our learn to earn contract, but we've done it so that the registrar is that private key that we set in our environment variable. Oh no. So it's this wallet, right? That's the kind of owner of that contract, who's the registrar. And now this moderator is a different key. So it's a different wallet, a different person. Our next step in running this is, I try not to scroll too fast for you guys, sorry, is to register our app. And this, we should really just we're gonna go over in a lot more detail in the future. So I'm not actually gonna worry about that, right? Because we're covering the vBeta integration in the next workshop, but it has the commands ready for you to do that, okay? Just so you know. And so register the app and then update the app ID in the contract. So now we can run our services again. I actually already have one of them running, don't I? So we'll just Command Control C out of that, and then we can just start it again. And over here, so here it actually gives you some information as well. So it gives you our app ID, right? It's given us our institute name, VeChain Learn to Earn Academy. And it set our reward amount to 10 beta as well. So when someone graduates from a given course, after they've submitted their proof, they'll be able to then earn themselves 10 beta per like course that they did. What else do we have? Oh, we got our transaction hash as well. That doesn't really matter. So if we go over here, once we've got these two things running, we should just actually be able to interact with our app. And that's what I forgot to do when I was when I was chatting to you just then. We've already got it open, haven't we? Here we go. So now we connect to our wallet and sign our certificate. Pop that in. And now we should be able to, now I'm connected, I should be able to register as a student for this particular like institute, right? So if we go in here, we'll do Bobby Beans and 10 vet to whoever can tell me where Bobby Beans is from, where that reference is from. We register up here. Again, we'll just be encouraged to sign this transaction, which is for registering. Hopefully I put my password in. Yes, we did. So now we've successfully registered as a student and, oh no, I missed it. Okay, well, we got it up here anyway. And we can have a look at this transaction too. So I've sent one vet to this address, which is a contract address. It's come from me over here and it's executed this one clause. It's not that interesting to read because it's just, I mean, obviously, I don't really show you much. What do we have? Nothing else is really that interesting. Okay, that doesn't matter. Cool. So now it's going to ask us to submit a proof, right? Because this is like the learning part of this platform isn't actually on here. This is the kind of thing that will go alongside a university course. So imagine I've done some whatever it is, and do I need to put my full name in here? I'm just going to put Bobby. And let's just I feel like I need to do this now. And what was the repo that we did for the other day? Do you remember, guys? Well, let's just do this. Okay, so now imagine that I've just done my course, right? I've just done whatever course I needed to do as part of this university, Learn to Earn University. And so what I've done here is completed my course, done whatever assignment I needed to do, and I'm basically going to hand this repo over as my submission as Bobby Beans, obviously. Then I'm going to submit my proof submitted, waiting for approval, and it's under review. I can check back later. But that's basically it, right? That's what our app does. Then the next step is for us as a moderator, like as the actual registrar, to review this independently and then submit the change that allows you basically to be registered as graduated. So we will have a look at that as well. Let's have a little look at that. So we want to do this part next, right? We've connected our wallet, we've registered, we've submitted our proof, and now we're waiting for approval, step 4. Now, we're not going to actually be able to claim our reward because if you remember, I didn't do the register the app and update the app. So we're going to have to just skip that step, sorry guys. But essentially here, what we have is we've got a couple of little curl commands because we haven't got basically the lecturer, right, the registrar's side of the front end, because we just wanted to demonstrate to you what a student would see and how a student would interact with it. So let's just submit some, we'll take this and let's just make the changes. Content type, X moderator key, we need to put our submission key here. Okay, grab that from .env. We'll just grab this. a secret moderator key, guys. Shh. Ugh, the most secure. And we'll just approve it. We'll just approve it and see how that goes. So I'm going to grab that whole command, Control C. We're going to go over here. What don't we have? Let's use this. Clear, and we're going to go, let's see if this works. So we obviously, to be able to do this, we need to have our app running. And what we're going to do is send this to the back end. We're just going to try and grant a submission straight away. Now, we need to also change our wallet address, I've just noticed, to our user's wallet address. So what I'm going to do quickly is go over here to vWorld. I'm going to grab our address here, or my address, it's not our address. And then we've got to do it this way. Oh no, we can go up. Nice. Because each student, each address is only allowed to be used once, we know that if I put my address in here and approve, then it should only bring back, or it can only bring back one student. And the reason we know that is because in the contract, we validate that address against all of the other like students that are registered already, like in the contract. So we know that there's only the one person who that can be, right? I'm just going to go down here and you see this response, submission accepted successfully and approved. So that's basically it. Well, I mean, there are other things that we could do, right? There are other things that we could have done. So for a start, we could have a front end, right, for our registrar, but we don't. That's all right, because you can still submit things through this, and it just goes through the, does it go through backend server here, or does it go through, yes, it does. So anyway, we're not just going to scroll through the code, because I'll just be doing that just out of interest for ages. But basically, we've got an approved submission here. We can view all submissions as well. So if we just curl this, I should have done this first, right? We might have to register again. Oh. Okay, so here we've got one submission from Bobby Beans, just Bobby. We got our proof link, which is to the repo for the VeChain Kit stuff, which you've just seen, which we walked through earlier. Submitted true, approved false, submitted at, and there's the date, approved at null, and some moderator notes. There are no moderator notes. All right, but I mean, that's basically what you'd get back. It's a list, like it's just a JSON object, so it's kind of what you'd expect from any kind of data. I mean, we're hitting an API, right? Of course, it's going to be JSON. But anyway, that's basically what that pulls back. Now, what it would be good, well, we can reject a submission. What would be good is if we could pull all of the students, but it doesn't look like we can. It doesn't matter. In fact, we can do that through our smart contract, can't we? Where did we do it? Here. No, we didn't. No, we can't. We can't do it. We can't do it, guys. Okay, I mean, that's basically it. The only other things that we have to do really for our app is make some kind of front end for our lecturer, you know, the registrar, who is the moderator on that private key in our .env, right? Is the moderator key up here. He's the only person who's able to approve stuff. And just save that. And the only other thing really then is to connect it to VBeta so that we can actually give people some rewards. But what we're going to do is, like I've said a couple of times probably already, is we're going to go through that in the next workshop when we have a look at VBeta. Because when you, like, we can just register for VBeta here, like through the app and update our app ID, but there's more to it than that. There's the actual VBeta platform and how you set up your app over there as well. How you submit an app for review as part to join VBeta, and everything that goes along with that. So we're not doing that now because there would just be a ton of stuff that we don't cover, and it would just be a wasted opportunity to actually explain all those things at the right time, right? If you want to toy around with this by yourself, that's absolutely fine. And in that case, you know, just add your own info, right? Generate your own private keys. Look, you can get this code so that you can run this stuff. This was just the code that we went through last week, right? It's in the workshop. I just ran wallet. That was it. And in fact, we can just do that now so that you can try it. Wait, I'm in backend, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So you just literally do src, sorry, node src/wallet.js, and then it will just give you, it'll give you a wallet. So that's basically how you do it. Oh yeah, we did do this because I have to command B. Grab that mnemonic and stick it in into your .env in your front end, and then do that. You have to do it twice, right? Because you need two. You need one for deployment, who you need to send a bunch of VeThor, and you also need one for your moderator. Okay, both of those are really, really important. And all you do is you don't do the mnemonic. Sorry, you do this the root private key here. Normally you wouldn't use this, but I mean we're not going to go through all of the HD wallet stuff. Okay, this is just workshop things. Yeah, cool. All right, now I don't really think there's anything else much to go through. So probably, well, actually, we're probably about on time, to be honest with you. There's links to the Learn to Earn stuff and the VeChain Kit stuff that we've gone through in this workshop. So you can get both of those from the description of this video because we added them in, we made sure. And I added some extra ones in. And close that. And disconnect. And that's basically it. I'm just going to close all these services down, guys, and then we'll do a little round trip to sum it all up. Cool. Get rid of all that. Close the terminals. We can close this. We can close this. And right, final points. Skip through this a little bit to find where we were. All right, back on track, guys. Okay, so this is basically it. We've been through a ton of stuff, and I have skipped through this so quickly because I was really conscious about time, and you know, typical as it goes, we've gone much faster than I expected. When I practiced going through this, I must have been rambling a lot because it took over 2 hours. But I also tried to write a lot less code, or like not write anything, so that we could just demonstrate stuff to you and didn't have to like mess around with code as well, because like I'm not used to using this keyboard. I'm used to using split keyboards, like keyboard. It's a split keyboard, and yeah, so I'm like trying to type and it's embarrassing. But what we have done is we've covered basically almost anything that you need for front-end development with VeChain. We haven't gone over how to build apps with React or with Next.js because that's kind of outside the scope of this stuff. What we have done is we've looked at VeChain Kit and how you integrate it into your web app, your React app. We've had a look at fee delegation and setting that up with VeChain Energy. We've also had a look at just basic provider stuff. We looked at Privy. We had a look at how to get your provider ID. Then we kind of switched modes a little bit, and we had a look at the Learn to Earn platform. Now, it didn't use VeChain Kit, which I'm a little bit frustrated about, because it was like a perfect opportunity to demonstrate these things with like the fee delegation and stuff. But it doesn't matter because we did just take a little look at the code and ran the services, and we went through the process of actually getting that repo and being able to test it yourself, which is really what the workshop's about, right, when it comes to our continual development of this Learn to Earn platform. It has a back end, it has a front end. We deployed the contracts through our environment variables, through our little private keys that we set up, which we funded ourselves. Oh, I forgot, we actually looked at the faucet as well and how you can grab yourself testnet VeChain, sorry, Vet and VeThor. We also had a look at setting up your wallet yourself as well. which we haven't really looked at before. So we looked at the faucet, we looked at vWorld, we looked at VeChain Kit, we looked at the front end for our app, we looked at fee delegation and Privy and setting up our Wallet Connect app ID. I mean, we've covered a ton. We covered an absolute ton. If you guys have any questions, pop them in the chat right about now. You can stay tuned with VeChain Builders. Connect with us on Telegram and on Twitter, or X, sorry. I need to start calling it X now, don't I? I didn't want to because I think it's a pretty silly name, but I think we got past the point of sticking with Twitter. But yeah, join VeChain, stick around with VBetter News, just scan that QR code, join the VeChain Builders with this Telegram QR code here. We'd love to see you. Feel free to ask any questions. There's a nice little community there, always active. And the last thing, I guess, is the hackathon. So if you're interested in joining the hackathon, there is a link below where you can kind of pre-register, if you like, because the registration technically isn't open yet, but you can sign up already so that you get notified when it's about to start and you don't forget, because it's like 3 weeks away. There'll also be some other information that's being shared in the meantime as well, so just stick around for that and just make sure that you are ready. The next workshop next week is going to be purely about submitting your app to VBetter, get it integrated, and we're going to do those missing steps that we didn't do in the app today. And what do we have after that? The next workshop after that is a full stack example where we just cover everything. It's going to be a lot of coding in that one, so it's going to be much more heads down and just listening to me talk myself around in circles and dealing with errors, basically. And then finally, the last workshop that we have in this series is with OneChain. And they're going to be coming on to talk about their tools so that you have some information available to you so you know how to get started building cross-chain solutions if that's something you're interested in submitting for the third track. Okay. I think that's about it, guys. I think that's about it. We are a little bit early, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in. Before anyone starts writing any questions, I don't know the answer to any kind of price stuff, obviously, but yeah, I mean, so I'm not really going to answer those questions. If you've got questions about development, like the development on VeChain, then fire away. And apologies for how crazy my hair is. I just noticed it's like all over the place. Yeah. So apologies for that, I guess. Okay. Yeah, party foul with the Ada thing. Yeah, exactly. That's just between us two, all right? Silent M, don't tell anyone about that. That's what happens when you're used to working on test nets. Okay, cool. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for sticking around. Definitely join. I'm going to whack that up quickly one final time. If you want to join either of the communities of VeChain, feel free. We'd love to have you in, asking questions. We'd love to help people. Check out the VeChain Kit docs, the code base that we've been walking through in this workshop. And I'll catch up with you next week for the VBetter integration. See you then.